Howdy. This is the Views from the Shop podcast. I'm your host, your one and only host, Tim Miller. And today it is Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. And I wish you a very, very, very happy Plush Animal Lovers Day. Well, this week has not necessarily gone how I thought it would go. Maybe not how you thought it would go either. Marcus Johnson, class of 2026 point guard, has decommitted from The Ohio State University. Today's show was supposed to continue the 2025 season preview series. Instead, we're met with the news yesterday that Marcus Johnson is decommitting from Ohio State. So we will talk about that on today's show. That said, the season preview series must go on, and it will go on. Tomorrow, you'll get a show, my full predictions, superlatives, and all of those types of things for Ohio State and college basketball at large. That will come tomorrow on YouTube and on podcast as well. And then we'll probably preview IU Indy. It'll either be Thursday or Friday. We're running out of time, but we'll preview Ohio State's first game of the year this week as well. So the content doesn't stop. We just get more content added, push into our laps, and that's kind of what we have to do. So we're live here on YouTube this morning because, well, I just figured if I'm going to record anyway, we might as well do it live with you. So thanks for being here today. If you are here live, we are going to get into everything Marcus Johnson. I guess if you're not here live, we're still talking Marcus Johnson, but we'll talk about kind of the background, him as a player, the decommitment, how this all came about. There's a lot of guesses. There's a lot of assertions being made about why he has decommitted from Ohio State. I'll kind of dispel some rumors, and then we'll talk about what's next as well for Ohio State. Are they going to go into the class of 2026? Are they going to try to replace Marcus Johnson with a portal player? We will talk about that as well. Of course, I got to plug the stuff at the beginning. We'll start with the Substack, Views from the Shot podcast.substack.com. Cannot recommend enough that you get there. You can go there and subscribe for completely free and get access to a bunch of notes from me, get access to articles from me, and kind of let it be your one-stop shop and hub and platform for Ohio State basketball. Or you can sign up for the chat. That's an exclusive paid chat where you get access to me. You can ask me any questions you want, and then I will feed you a bunch of info that I get there as well. Much of it held more closely to the vest. This is where I shared over a month ago that Marcus Johnson, there's trouble brewing there with his commitment. And then again, as you subscribe on YouTube, you all have really helped out there. You've done a great job. Please subscribe on YouTube. I'm desperate to get to 200 subs before the season begins. Why? It's because arbitrary number, arbitrary timeline. That's it. But we're really, really close. There's a link there in the chat. Please subscribe on YouTube. It would make my day. And if there's anything you want to do on this Tuesday, I guess it's make some random podcasters guy his day. So there's that. All right. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. 5-star review. Shout out the Nut House. You know how this goes. All right. Let's talk Marcus Johnson and the decommitment here. Here's one thing we're not going to do in this show is we're not going to act like Marcus Johnson is bad at basketball because he's decommitting from Ohio State. There's probably already fans who kind of feel that pull and they want to talk down on Marcus Johnson. He's no better or worse player because he's not going to Ohio State compared to if he were going to Ohio State. So I'm not going to come in here and say, man, well, thank goodness Marcus Johnson. I didn't think he was going to be very good anyway. He's a consensus 4-star. He's a consensus top point guard in the class. So this loss does hurt, but we'll talk about it. So he commits to Ohio State on April 10th of 2024. It's been a year and a few months since he committed to Ohio State. It was right after Jake Diebler was named head coach, not interim, but full-time head coach of the Ohio State University men's basketball program. He commits shortly thereafter, and he was the first pledge that Jake Diebler got when he was named head coach. And the first pledge he gets will not end up being a Buckeye. He's fallen a bit in the rankings, still a 4-star, like I said, composite top 50-ish player and top 4 point guard in the class of 2026. His father, Sonny, he's going to be an OHSAA Hall of Fame inductee if he isn't already. I assume there's an OHSAA Hall of Fame. He'll be there for his play, also his coaching at Garfield Heights. Marcus Johnson, incredible player there at Garfield Heights up in the Cleveland area. You look at his build, it's wiry, it's lean. That's pretty normal for a high school athlete, but smooth playmaking ability, great ball handling, really, really crafty at the rim. 3-point shot could use some help. His shooting ability, especially catch and shoot, maybe could use some help, but talented in the point guard skills, talented passer, all those types of things. Again, not the greatest shooter, but he fits the bill for what you're looking for in a point guard at the next level at college basketball, and especially at Ohio State. Look at what Bruce Thornton has done for Ohio State. His shooting ability is there. He shot over 40% from the 3-point line last season, but overall, his ability to play make, to lead an offense, to push the ball is what they're going to look for him to do this year. Bruce Thornton has all of that. I think Marcus Johnson was going to end up being a really, really good fit at Ohio State had they kept him. Like I said, I'm not going to tear him down just because he decommitted from Ohio State. I have no idea where he's going to go or anything like that. I know there's a lot of assumptions that he might end up joining his cousin. Well, I guess he can't join his cousin, but following in his cousin's footsteps in terms of committing to Ohio State. He doesn't make it to Ohio State, but Meechie Johnson then goes to South Carolina. There's questions about that. I have no idea. I don't know where he's going to go. That's beyond my pay grade here at Views from the Shop podcast, but we know he's not going to end up at Ohio State. So let's talk about the decommitment here, because obviously that's what we're all here for, not necessarily the type of player he is, but what happened here. So like I said, I told subscribers about this. I'll drop a link as well in the live chat. You can get to the chat right now. If you want, just let me know. I will give you a free week on the chat to get some of these exclusive scoops that I throw out there. It's, again, stuff that I need to keep closer to the chest that doesn't necessarily need to be out to the public and be reported. But for those who really, really love Ohio State basketball and want that type of info, that's a good spot for you. It's not for everyone. And if you're opposed to that, that's totally fine. But just putting out there, this is something, I shared the receipts last night. I shared that I posted this in the Substack multiple times, dating back to September. This is something that in the Anthony Thompson show, when he committed to Ohio State, at the very end of the show, if you listen to it, I was very specific with my wording. And I said, I don't think this is the last move in the class of 2026. And that may make a lot of people think, well, maybe they're going to get someone else. Others, especially those who are in the Substack and know, they knew that probably meant Marcus Johnson may be decommitting. And I never came out and said for sure that he was going to decommit from Ohio State. Never came out and said that. So I can't take a victory lap there. But this is what I was referring to in that show. And this is something that I've been sharing for a bit. And it's been a bumpy relationship for a while. I have no idea how much the Meechie Johnson situation really fed into this. I've said, over and over, it's really impressive that Ohio State kept Marcus Johnson committed to Ohio State with all of the stuff that went down with Meechie Johnson Jr. last year. But this has been a bumpy relationship between Ohio State and the Johnson family for, over a year now at this point. I don't know how much it has to do with Meechie Johnson, but I think it's probably related. And conversations that even I've been told that Marcus was having with others, I guess as specific as I'll be, around Ohio State, seemed like he was less locked in to his commitment with Ohio State, even as just a couple of weeks ago. So again, this is something that's been brewing and something that he was even sharing. And this has been months, not weeks, where this has been kind of bubbling up. I'll also add that there's people out there who are saying this has been happening for weeks. It's not been weeks. It's been months. And again, I share all that to say just the fact that it's not a win. You lost Marcus Johnson. Maybe it's not necessarily a loss as much as it is addition by subtraction. I don't know if Ohio State sees it that way, but the fit here, which we'll talk about and why this all goes down, you do lose him. But the fact that Jake Diebler and the staff kind of kept this at bay and kind of stiff-armed the noise out for as long as they did, I think that's impressive. And I know that there are going to be fans who say, well, he lost him, so what's so impressive about losing the player? Gerald or whatever your name may be, I get that, okay? I get that. That's fine. The reasoning, so if you saw the article that Adam Jardy published yesterday, kind of right after the news broke with Marcus Johnson. Like Jardy knew this was coming. It was just a matter of, well, let's get Sonny on the phone and get some quotes from him whenever it's announced. Essentially, he got that. Doesn't make any sense to me. At the end of the day, here's what it is. He wants the ball in his hands. It's very similar to Roddy Gale Jr. If you were here listening to this show back when Roddy Gale Jr. decided not to return to Ohio State and enter the transfer portal, it's a very similar situation where, right or wrong, like you can have your own perspective on it, but it's a player who wants the ball in his hands more, and the family thinks that he needs to have the ball in his hands more. Very similar to Roddy Gale Jr. By the way, you're coming off a scrimmage or an exhibition where Ivan Negavon had 4 assists in an exhibition. Ivan Negavon. I mean, Bruce Thornton with 4 assists, you'll take that in a game. Your backup center had 4 assists in an exhibition. The front court as a whole had 12. Christoph Tilly had 7. That would have been a career high if it were a real game. I get it's an exhibition. It was still 40 minutes and still real game atmosphere feel, all those types of things. So that said, if you want the ball in your hands more and your front court puts up 12 assists in an exhibition, I mean, how much are you going to have the ball in your hands? I don't know. So you have that going for you. You also had Ohio State as a whole in that exhibition. I get it's an exhibition. 25 assists on 34 made field goals. That's an insane assist rate, okay? That's really good. They scored on 82% of their possessions that didn't end in a turnover. That's really, really good. They scored 97 points against Tennessee in their secret scrimmage. They put up over 100 against Ohio, and you might have to throw up the little TV-MA sticker like on the top left corner of the screen, depending on how hard Ohio State decides to get after it on IU Indy on Monday. This offense is going to be really, really good. But as a part of this offense being really, really good is ball movement. The ball's not going to stick. We're not going to dribble the air out of the basketball like we've seen over the past couple years at Ohio State. Whether it be under Jake Diebler, whether it be under Chris Holtmann, Jake Diebler in this offseason, he's done what he needs to do to get the roster where it needs to be, to where this could be a really, really good offense. And part of that, the byproduct is we're going to move the basketball. We're going to share the basketball. The assist rate as a team is going to be really, really high. And you know what? On some nights, John Mobley Jr. is going to eat. On the next night, he might go hungry, but Christoph Tilly is going to be well fed. And then on the next night, Bruce is going to eat. That's going to be the type of season I think we see with Ohio State, with the fact that they've got a bunch of players who can contribute offensively, but not just that, they're going to share the ball, which means some players are going to eat some nights, other players are going to eat on other nights, and you're going to be well fed regardless because you're going to pick up wins doing that. So the whole, like, Sonny Johnson, he's saying play style is a concern. Like, did I miss something? When did that change? When has play style really changed? Like, this has always been the goal for Ohio State and Jake Diebler. He's always said this. It's never been a secret. He didn't wake up one morning and kind of kiss the wife and say, all right, well, time to go to work. And then he's sitting there in his car on 270 or 315, wherever you may be. I'm going to guess 315. And say, you know what? Maybe we should try passing the ball this year a little bit more. Maybe they would have more fun running up and down the floor more. Would it be easier to win and recruit if our guys just shot the ball more? Would that be good for us? Like, that's not what happened. This has been, since Jake Diebler was introduced as head coach, this has been his message. And guess what? It's not like Marcus Johnson and his family and Sonny Johnson, they sat down and they committed, and then they were like, oh no, I think we made a terrible mistake here. They're going to want to move the basketball. This is a terrible, terrible mistake. This is bad. We didn't know this. We didn't just find this out on October 27th, 2025. What, 13 months after we committed? This isn't news. So what is this actually? Well, it's not play style. It's the fact that Ohio State got Anthony Thompson just a few days ago, and this was the convenient way that we could kind of get out of this commitment and still make us look good. So I'll talk about that more in a second. I'll tell you what it's not. There's a couple things that it's not. It's not NIL. I speak all the time about Ohio State's NIL situation on the basketball side. It's an easy claim to make. Like, after we saw what Anthony Thompson got, we wanted more. I'm just going to guess here, and I could be wrong. Let's just think about this practically, right? Like, you think Anthony Thompson, he commits to Ohio State, and then he just like sends a screenshot of his NIL offer as if you can fit that in one screenshot? He just sends that, hey, Marcus, look what I got. This is what I got. And there are tweets out there and there's reports out there of the numbers that Anthony Thompson is getting. And I get that part. But trying to assert that this is NIL related, I'm not going to sit here and buy that. I'm going to sell that, actually. I'm going to sell that and sell it some more. I think if Ohio State wanted to afford Marcus Johnson, I think that they could. And it's not even that. It's not if they wanted to. They got the commitment. They're all set. That's not what this is. Now, does Sonny Johnson and Marcus Johnson, do they see this as, well, maybe we can get more. Maybe we can decommit. And at this point in the cycle, when pretty much everyone else is committed, maybe we can decommit. Maybe we can get more money elsewhere. Is that possible? Yeah, for sure that's possible. But that's not the reasoning. So for the football fans who maybe aren't all that into Ohio State basketball, you're just wondering what's going on, or just for the people who have one brain cell just flipping around on a trampoline and say, it must have been the money. Jake Diebler he's writing checks he can't cash. No, that's not what happened here. So let's stop with that. Let's just quiet that down. If you hear someone saying that, just slowly say, come here, buddy. Come here. I'm gonna take you to a really cool place. We're just gonna shove him back in the dumpster. We're gonna shut it down and we're gonna move along. Okay. The other thing, there's a quote in the article with Adam Jardy. Let me just say, quote, what Marcus told Coach Diebler when he talked to him was, hey, Coach, hopefully you're still recruiting me. Hopefully you still want me. If not, I understand. End quote. This is from Sonny Johnson. All right. Look, guys, 8 p.m. tonight. He also, by the way, Sonny Johnson, he called Jake Diebler a classy guy for this, by the way. We're gonna all attend at the Shot 8 p.m. tonight, just a group throw up and vomit together. Okay, everyone's gonna get together, bring your buckets, we're gonna throw up. That quote is absolutely insane. This is like we're gonna shrug our shoulders and we're gonna put a little sad face on. I'm sorry, I'm probably going too far. I think Marcus Johnson's a good guy, but this quote just fires me up. Like, do you still want me? Like, total pick me energy, total is for me energy. Like, that's disgusting. Hopefully you're still recruiting me. Ohio State never stopped recruiting Marcus Johnson. That's insane. If you're going to tell me Marcus when he committed, Anthony Thompson when he committed, Alex Smith when he committed, and other players, whether it be portal or other previous classes, have said, Jake Diebler made me feel like a priority. You're going to tell me, hey, Coach, hopefully you still want me. Cross your arms, Coach, please. You still want me? I don't know. That's absolute BS. I'm never believing that for a second, that we didn't know if we were still wanted here at Ohio State after Anthony Thompson committed. That's insane. It's another easy way out. It's another way to make it look like I'm not the bad guy. I tried to right the wrongs here, that there were no wrongs, but I tried to right the wrongs here with Jake Diebler saying, hey, he's a classy guy. Like, I can't do it with that. Like, everyone has their opinions on the Johnson family and Michi and now Marcus. It sucks that Marcus Johnson's going to get a lot of hate from this because I don't really think it comes from him. But my gosh, that's just, I can't do it. I can't buy into that. And I'm not going to. I'm not even going to try to buy into it. There's some people talking about losing another in-state guy and Jake Diebler. We're going back to, well, Jake Diebler can't cook in the state of Ohio and he can't keep talent in the state of Ohio. You can't celebrate Anthony Thompson. Can't celebrate Jake Diebler for getting Thompson and then boo when you lose Marcus Johnson. Like, either getting in-state talent is a problem or it's not. You tell me, guys. You tell me. Would you rather have Anthony Thompson or would you rather have Marcus Johnson? I think everyone and their brother would rather have Anthony Thompson, and sister and mother and maid and everyone in your life if you just sit down and you look, you'll take Anthony Thompson over Marcus Johnson. Because, by the way, I'm not sure that Anthony Thompson is bringing the baggage that Marcus Johnson would have with his family involved and all of those different types of things. That's just me. That's my opinion. So if you're going to complain about not being able to get in-state talent, let's just flip it. Let's imagine a world. Let's do this. Let's imagine a world where Anthony Thompson commits to Indiana and Ohio State keeps Marcus Johnson. Are you happy? Are you happier in this world or in the alternate universe where you lose the 5-star again for a second straight year? You lose the 5-star small forward with ties to Ohio. Another program comes in and poaches him from your state. Are you good with that? Probably not. So, all in all, if you're looking for what is the reasoning, why did Ohio State lose Marcus Johnson? Why has he decommitted? It's because Anthony Thompson is going to be the focal point next season, and Marcus Johnson won't. And I'm fine with that. Like, I respect it. You know what you want, and you're going to go out and get it somewhere else. That's fine. Let the guy do it. Are you going to get kind of looked down upon for that? Yeah, maybe. But I just, kind of the thoughts and the assertions, and again, like, this fan base doesn't have a lot of people who can kind of spill inside scoops and stuff like that, and I'm not going to act like I'm the latest and greatest in that world, but there's people out there with just opinions, especially people with burners who can just say stuff and it doesn't come back to them. And I feel like we got to kind of shut some of that down somewhat, at least on this scenario. It's like, I have no problems with how Ohio State handled this whatsoever. I guess that's what I'll say. All right. So moving forward, you may be curious, what is Ohio State going to do? And my thoughts on this is it's Tuesday. We're 6 days away from the 2025 season beginning. I'm going to guess that the coaching staff is probably looking at that. I mean, this could be one of the best offenses in the nation. I already talked to you about the numbers against Tennessee and against Ohio. It might be the number one scoring offense in the Big Ten. You're going to look at worst, a second team all Big Ten point guard in Bruce Thornton, who's going to finish among the best players at Ohio State in the Big Ten, in the nation, and career-wise, one of the best players ever at Ohio State, and one of the best scorers all time in program history, among plenty of other notable stats where he's going to be among the leaders or number one. So I guess my question to you would be, would you rather the staff go all in on prying someone, just absolutely crowbarring the commitment of like Jason Singleton Jr., for example, trying to get him out of Harvard and force him into Ohio State after, well, first of all, trying to do all that when we are 2 weeks, I think, maybe 3 weeks away from the early signing period for college basketball? Would you rather go all in on that with not a lot of time to do it? Or would you rather them go all in on winning this year because you haven't made the NCAA tournament in 3 seasons, you haven't made a Sweet 16 in 10 years, and this program this is a tipping point where you've got to win this year. So you tell me, where do you want the coaching staff to spend its time? And it's not either one or the other. Obviously, I know that, but you only have so many hours in a day. As good and as smart as I believe this coaching staff is, I don't think they can cast a spell to get extra time. Actually, on Sunday, you're going to get an extra hour, or Saturday, depending on how you count it. So there is that, but everyone else gets that extra hour too. So it just ends up being a wash. So it doesn't matter. But all that said, would you rather Ohio State go all in on this year or try to scramble and find a solution? So that said, I mean, I saw a tweet. I don't remember who, but I saw a tweet said they've been focused on a top 2026 replacement like for a while, essentially. That's not true, at least acting like they've got someone in the fold in the class of 2026. That's not true. You can't recruit to replace Marcus before he decommits. I mean, just think about it practically. Hey, Jason, 2 weeks ago, you call him up. Are you sure? Are you sure about Harvard? Like, you're 100% sure? And Jason's like, yeah, like, why are you calling me? Probably. Well, we're just wondering, I guess. kind of, maybe do a little, Coach Diebler does a little twirl, little spin. I don't know, Jason, just thinking about you. Like, pretty easy to tell why you can't go out and say, well, we think Marcus is going to decommit. It's just, that's not how this works in that world. So acting like they've got a 2026 guy in the fold, that's not it. My guess, this is my guess, they don't add another guy in the class of 2026 to replace Marcus Johnson. They may get a Tristan Reed. They may get a Joe Philon or a player like that, or Philon, however you say his name. But to get a player to replace Marcus Johnson, I find it hard to believe at this point. Just timing wise, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's a bad thing either, because look at what Bruce Thornton has done over the past 4 years at Ohio State. Look at what Ohio State has done over the past couple weeks in terms of their secret scrimmage against Tennessee and the exhibition against Ohio. Look what Jake Diebler and this staff has done in the portal and landing a 5-star recruit. If you think that this isn't one of the most attractive destinations for a transfer point guard coming up in March, especially if Ohio State makes a run this year in college basketball, which I'll tell you, they feel really, really good that they can, then I won't say you're crazy, but I'll say maybe look into some shrinks, some psychologists, something like that, just a therapist, kind of help me walk through some things. Why do I think that way? Because you'd be wrong. You're just wrong. This is going to be the easiest pitch of all pitches that Ohio State can make over the past 3 years since Jake Diebler has been here, is trying to go find a transfer portal point guard in the class of 2026. It's just going to be easy. Like, it doesn't mean they're going to win. It doesn't mean that they're going to go out and get the top point guard. But I tell you what, with everything that this team has working for them, imagine a world where they do win 23 games this year, and they do win a couple games in the NCAA tournament, and you've got a 5-star in Anthony Thompson returning, and Christoph Tilly, Brandon Knoll, John Mobley Jr. I guess John Mobley Jr. is not a transfer, but transfers come in from this year, and they play well. And maybe you get Devin Royal back. I don't know. Maybe you get John Mobley Jr. back. I don't know. But you have a 5-star coming in. You got Alex Smith coming in, who they really, really like. A good roster next year. And you say, look, man, you're the missing piece. All we need to run this back and have another excellent season and have a chance for a Final Four run is you. And look at what Bruce Thornton just did. He just set records upon records upon records at this program without winning an NCAA tournament game until his senior year, without making the NCAA tournament until his senior year. He didn't get a bunch of extra games to do that either. So imagine what you could do with a good team around you, with a great team around you. That could be you. Look at Bruce Thornton. That could be you. I mean, you're telling me that's not an easy pitch to make for players who are considering, who just had a great year at Tulane or North Texas or Chattanooga or wherever, like guys who are looking at where am I going to go next year? If you got a point guard who you really want, Ohio State's going to be as strong of a contender as anyone in college basketball when you're looking at a point guard. So that's my guess, is that Ohio State goes all in on trying to find a point guard in the class of 2026, because there's going to be a hole there. All respect to Gabe Cupps and Tayson Chapman. I'm not sure that either of those guys are the ones you want starting at point guard next year. So my guess is they go all in on getting a guy in the transfer portal class rather than in the recruiting world. So, or the high school recruiting world. So that said, that's what I've got on Marcus Johnson. Kind of summary key points. This is because of the Anthony Thompson commitment. They would like to be a focal point in the offense next year. They don't feel like they can do that at this point. And that said, they decommit, they move elsewhere. Ohio State most likely is, my guess is they're going to find someone in the class of 2026 transfer portal, not in the class of 2026 in the high school ranks. We will see where that goes. But there's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of claims that are out there that are not true. So I wanted to, we're going to cover this anyway, but wanted to kind of speak to that a little bit as well. So appreciate you being here today. Again, please subscribe on the YouTube. It's my utmost goal that we get to 200 subscribers. I know it's a small number, but it would make me happy. Let's get to 200 subscribers before the season starts. You guys have done a great job. I mean, the numbers are continuing to climb. So please get there. Even if you don't watch on YouTube, even if you don't care, like, that's fine. Just do it to make some other guy happy. What if you were that guy? And by the way, I used to think before I did this, like I'd listen to podcasts of not of my own, but my own podcast that I like to listen to, right? Like I love listening to podcasts about my favorite teams, and they'd say subscribe and do all the things on YouTube and like the video. And I used to think it doesn't matter. Like they're not talking about me, right? Like it's not me. My one subscription, my one like doesn't matter. It matters. If you're that person who thinks it doesn't matter, it does matter. So please do subscribe. Like the video on YouTube as well. Leave your comments there. Like the tweet on Twitter for sure. Do that as well. Follow on all the socials. We'll be back. So here's what we're going to do, okay, for the coming week. It'll be tomorrow where I'll do my season prediction show. And then it'll be either Thursday or Friday where we will preview Ohio State's first game of the regular season against IU Indy. I'm told that game's going to be wild. So we'll talk about why that game's going to be wild coming up here in the coming days. So make sure you subscribe. Bunch of content coming for you. And as we continue to build this show up, we're gonna continue to do such things like cover every single game for Ohio State, preview the game, recap the game, be live here on YouTube and on Twitter as well, and all those different types of things. Okay. It's 9:00 on Tuesday morning. The world is our oyster. We've got a lot of things that we can do today. The only question is, what will we do first? I recommend you eat the frog. After that, I don't know. But let's get after it today. Hope you have a great Tuesday. Thanks for being here today. Until next time, I shut up before you shut me off. Go Bucks.